When 50 millionaire chefs laughed at a dishwasher, she revealed her amazing, life-changing talent. Ava scrubbed the last of the pots in her cramped corner of the bustling Manhattan eatery, the clatter of plates echoing in her ears. Just beyond those kitchen doors, the aroma of truffle oil and roasted garlic swirled together, igniting her dreams. A world filled with flavors waited on the other side. Yet here she was, a mere dishwasher, scrubbing away the remnants of someone else's creativity. Every laugh from the million-dollar chefs not only stung but fueled a fire deep within her. Did they even know that beneath this apron, her heart beat for a life where she wasn't just a shadow? Wiping her brow, she recalled the smell of her grandmother's kitchen, warmth of home-cooked meals floating around her. Those family recipes were treasures hidden away, full of stories and love. Every Sunday, her grandmother would cook, teaching Ava that food wasn't just sustenance, but a language of resilience. With each shift, that memory tugged at her, whispering promises of a bigger life. But the endless shouts of "back to work, girl," from the kitchen hierarchy rattled her confidence as her shift ended. She caught sight of a flyer taped to the staff board. A prestigious culinary competition. Tremors of excitement raced through her. Was it possible? Could she really show them her talent? Ignited by a mix of fear and hope, she made a choice that night. She would enter. No more hiding in the shadows, she would unleash the flavors of her heritage. With her little brother as her eager taste tester, Ava poured her heart into the tiny kitchen of their two-bedroom apartment. Each dish became a love letter to her family, her grandmother's spicy gumbo, savory apple pie, and zesty mole sauce danced on her fingertips as she cooked. The flavors morphed into symbols of their struggles, transforming her exhaustion into determination. "This is our story," she'd tell her brother, whose eyes sparkled with admiration. Little did he know, though, that the weight of bills and their mother's hard days loomed like dark clouds, coming down to the last stretch. Doubt crept in. Would chefs see her as just a dishwasher, invisible and insignificant? Yet, the thought of standing before the judges pushed her through sleepless nights filled with chopping, tasting, and cooking from the heart. On the night of the competition, Ava stood at the back, a sea of culinary giants radiating confidence before her. In her humble whites, she felt the sting of their doubt wash over her. Anxiety clawed at her. Her hands shook as she plated her grandmother's masterpiece. As she stepped forward, silence fell. The sturdy faces of the judges turned into countless eyes, each filled with skepticism. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The air crackled with tension. She layered the dish with love, nervousness clawing at her throat. The first bite, time seemed to freeze. Suddenly, a voice cut through, booming from the back. A flash of familiarity struck her. Who was it? Did they see her? All her hopes rested on that moment. Would she finally get the respect she fought for? Or would they snicker once more, drowning her dreams in their laughter? Ava's heart hammered as she recognized the voice. It was Alex, the sous chef from her restaurant, someone whose gruff demeanor hid a surprising softness for talent and potential. He had always pointed out dishes in the kitchen that sparkled bright with passion. And now, in the midst of this high-stakes competition, he was defending her. "What are you doing here?" she thought, her thoughts racing. Had he come to support her, or was he here to witness her impending failure? The judges' brows furrowed as they exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from skepticism to focused intrigue. She swallowed hard, trying to steady her trembling hands. The color of the dish, so vibrant and alive, momentarily distracted her. She could almost hear her grandmother's voice guiding her. "Trust your instincts, Ava. Put your heart on that plate." The sound of a fork slicing through the airflow felt amplified. The judges needed to taste it. She could see the tension swelling in the crowd, waiting for their reactions. She looked to Alex for support. He simply nodded, an encouraging smile peeking from his otherwise stern facade. It wasn't much, but it was enough to ignite that flicker of hope in her chest. One judge, a petite woman adorned in sleek black spectacles, took the first bite. The silence was deafening. Ava held her breath, every muscle in her body taut as a bowstring. The judge closed her eyes, chewing slowly, as if savoring the layers of flavors. Delicious, she praised, her voice warm and inviting. Bold and authentic. This has depth. Ava's heart leaped. A wave of relief washed over her, almost making her dizzy. She had surprised them. She caught glimpses of the other judges, their expressions softening, nodding in agreement. But would their votes follow suit? Each bite took on a life of its own as the other judges dug in. Soon, the room buzzed with murmurs, a cocktail of surprise and admiration blended with disbelief. Her brother's laughter echoed in her mind, his innocent excitement fueling her spirit. The thought of family, of her grandmother's legacy, pushed Ava forward, each comment wrapping around her heart, tightening the bonds of determination. Suddenly, the moment shifted when one of the judges, a tall man with a perfectly groomed beard, cleared his throat. His expression was unreadable. "You've done something remarkable here, but let me ask you, what is your story? Where does this dish come from?" Her pulse quickened. Ava felt the weight of the question hanging over her like a dark cloud. What would she say? Suddenly, it wasn't just about the dish. It was about her, the dishwasher who had dared to step out from the shadows. With raw honesty, she began to speak. "This dish is my culture and my family, my grandmother who taught me to cook," as she shared stories about where we come from. "It reflects every sacrifice they made." As she poured out her heart, she noticed a perfect stillness taking over the room. Eyes that had once been skeptical now glimmered with understanding. But just then, a voice from the back interrupted her. "And what happens if you win?" The skeptical tone sent a chill down her spine. Every head turned, eyes narrowing on her once again. Caught between the weight of their expectations and her dreams, Ava realized this was only the beginning. Would she have the courage to forge ahead with her narrative, carving a space for herself among them? As she gathered her swirling emotions, a sudden realization dawned on her. Today wouldn't just shape her future. It would define her identity. But what lay ahead was uncertain, laced with challenges she hadn't yet imagined. What if this competition unleashed more than just her culinary talent? What if it opened doors to a world she never knew existed, where she could challenge not only the culinary titans on stage but the very definitions of success itself? With each passing second, her heart whispered a question that loomed as large as her dreams. Would she seize it all, or lose herself in the doubt that had shadowed her for so long? Ava took a breath, the weight of the question hanging in the air like a fragile balloon ready to pop. Every skeptical eye was fixed on her, as if waiting for her to falter, to show weakness. But there was a fever rising inside her, a pulse of determination. She felt it in her bones and in the memories of peeling vegetables while her grandmother narrated tales of their ancestry, of the first meal she ever cooked, of the warmth of family around the dinner table. "If I win," she hesitated, words almost stuck in her throat. They expected her to say something grand, to wow them with a business plan or an extravagant vision. "I can open a restaurant that honors my family's recipes. A place where stories are shared, cultures collide, and everyone leaves with full bellies and warm hearts." The judges exchanged glances again, this time less skeptical, more intrigued. She caught Alex's gaze, and his eyes sparkled with pride. Was it enough? But the man with the beard wasn't done. "And what if it doesn't work? What if you are just the dishwasher who got lucky on one plate?" The judges laughed, a chorus of rich tones that filled the room and yet felt like they were mocking her. Heat flooded Ava's face. She felt small. Memories of her first day in the kitchen came rushing back, the laughter around her as she struggled to keep up, the dismissive glances from the more experienced cooks. Doubt crept in, but she pushed it aside like an unwanted guest. "I know the risks," she said, lifting her chin defiantly, "but I refuse to go back to the shadows. I'd rather take the chance and fail than never try at all." The silence that followed was thick, punctuated by the soft scraping of cutlery against plates as the judges resumed their tastings. A new energy sparked in the air. Perhaps they were beginning to see her not just as a dishwasher, but as a contender with courage. The petite judge nodded slowly, her expression reflective. "You're right, Ava. Every culinary giant started somewhere. But to win, you have to believe in your story more than we believe in it. You have to make it universal." Ava's heart raced again. Could she really be that bold? The thought of sharing her journey openly, of breaking down barriers and expectations, frightened her but exhilarated her at the same time. Suddenly, the moment shifted. Another voice broke through the room. "I want more. What made you passionate about cooking?" It was a young woman in the front row, eyes wide with anticipation. Ava sensed she wasn't the only one looking for truth here. Ava inhaled deeply, embracing the stage. "Cooking for me is love. It's how my grandmother showed me we matter. It's every family meal filled with laughter, and every recipe that tells a story of who we are. I want to do that for others." The murmurs started again, this time energized, and she felt a growing connection with the audience made up of future chefs, aspiring cooks, and patrons. Then, just as the atmosphere shifted positively, the skeptical judge interjected, "But is that enough for competition of this scale? Passion alone won't win you favors." And there it was again, that knife of doubt. What happened next would require her to dig deeper than she ever had before. She had shown them her heart, but could she share her skills? Could she redefine what it meant to succeed in a world that had little space for the likes of her? Determination swelled again. She thought of her grandmother's smile and all those nights spent perfecting each dish. This was not just about winning. It was about showing what passion and tenacity could really achieve as the tension built. Ava faced the judges with renewed resolve and left a tantalizing question in the air. "So what if I fail? I am ready to take that chance. Are you ready to see what I can do?" The crowd leaned in. Each person present now hung on her every word, their expressions revealing anticipation, doubt, and something else, hope. And with that hope, Ava prepared for the next challenge. What culinary art could her hands create that would bridge the gap between past and present? Would she sink or swim against giants ready to scoff at her? Ava's heart thundered in her chest. The spotlight felt hot on her skin, but she didn't shy away. She took another breath, drawing in the scent of fresh herbs and sizzling olive oil. The kitchen filled with the sounds of sizzling pans, but in this moment, she could hear only her own pulse. The judges seemed to pause, their expressions wavering between skepticism and intrigue. She could sense their curiosity. They were waiting for her to take the next step. "What I can do," she began, "is cook something that represents who I am." With a deep breath, she turned to the counter where her ingredients waited. Fresh heirloom tomatoes, vibrant greens, fragrant spices, everything she needed to create a dish that went beyond just taste. She wanted to create a memory, an experience, just like her grandmother had taught her. Each slice of the knife became a declaration of her resolve. She worked swiftly, the rhythm echoing the heartbeat in her ears, focusing on her movements, feeling the history of her family unfolding in every chop, every stir. She whisked, sautéed, and plated with passion, infusing her emotions into the food. The judges' eyes tracked her every move, some leaning forward, intrigued as she plated the final touches together, an heirloom tomato salad drizzled with basil oil, a hint of sweetness from diced peaches, all finished with a sprinkle of crunchy sea salt. Ava felt like she was communicating something greater than just ingredients. Each element told a story, of sun-kissed summers spent in her grandmother's garden, of laughter under the stars spent with family. "Here it is," she declared, now holding the plate with both hands like a trophy she had fought hard to earn. "This dish isn't just food. It's love. It's moments shared with family and friends around the table where every bite is filled with stories." The small judge took the first bite, her eyebrows raising in surprise as the flavors burst forth. The rich tang of tomato paired with the sweetness of peach and the earthy notes of basil created a symphony in her mouth. Each bite seemed to transform the room, pressing against the walls and filling the air with the essence of home. The other judges followed suit, tasting in silence, their expressions shifting from skepticism to appreciation. Then the man with the beard broke the silence, his voice rough but softened somehow. I didn't expect this. You've captured something special here. Ava felt a swell of triumph coursing through her. They were beginning to understand she wasn't just some dishwasher. She was a storyteller armed with culinary skills. But still, a shadow of doubt flickered across her mind. What if this wasn't enough? What if they only saw the surface, the simple flavors, and missed the deeper meaning buried within? The atmosphere buzzed as the judges conferred among themselves, whispers rising and falling like the sound of distant waves. Ava wrung her hands, her heart racing with anxiety. Then Alex stepped forward, his voice steady. Ava, you've shown them your heart on a plate. You deserve to show them every corner of your culinary soul. His words wrapped around her like a warm comfort, pushing away that creeping self-doubt. She had put everything into that dish. She had layered her identity, her dreams, into each bite. As the judges turned back, Ava stepped forward, her gaze unwavering. I know I'm not what you expected, but I refuse to let doubt define my journey. I want to show you what happens when you take a chance on someone who believes in food as a bridge, not a barrier. Their eyes glimmered with something. Was it respect? Perhaps even admiration? Or was it still just curiosity? As the panel began to deliberate, Ava braced herself for their verdict, wondering if her moment of truth was close at hand. Would they see her potential? And what would it mean for her future? In that moment, the stage felt smaller. The world seemed to hold its breath. Ava wondered, with hope trembling in her heart, if this was the beginning of something remarkable or just a fleeting moment lost in time. Every second felt stretched, time trickling away. What would their verdict reveal about the space she was ready to carve out for herself in this culinary world that had previously felt so daunting? The judges huddled together, their murmurs growing softer, the tension in the air palpable. Ava could barely breathe as she watched their faces. Each gesture, each nod felt monumental. Would this be the moment she had dreamed of, the moment everything changed? One judge raised his hand, beckoning for silence. Ava's stomach flipped. Her heart raced like a wild stallion, desperate to break free from her chest. The room felt electric, every eye locked on the panel. Thank you, Ava, he began, his tone measured but firm. What you presented to us was a unique perspective. You turned simple ingredients into something profound. Her pulse quickened at the encouragement. Hope flickered, but then came a swirl of fear. What if they still didn't see her? What if their praise was nothing but a fleeting acknowledgement? The small judge from before, the one who had tasted first, continued. Your dish sparked conversation. It resonated. Ava felt the warmth of validation spread through her. Thank you, she managed to whisper, overwhelmed yet grateful. But then the bearded man leaned in, his expression shifting. However, we have to consider the competition you're up against. A chill raced down her spine. We're looking for someone who can not only cook well, but has an unmistakable presence in the kitchen. We need to see you push your boundaries, take risks. Ava gulped. Doubt threatened to creep back in, like shadows at dusk. The last thing she wanted was to disappoint. Your dish was beautiful, he added quickly, but we need to know you can do more. We want to see layers of depth that tells us you are not just a one-hit wonder. Was it enough? Could she? The thoughts blasted through her mind like a whirlwind. Her hands trembled slightly, a small reminder of her vulnerability. Alex caught her eye from the back, a reassuring smile breaking through the tension. It bolstered her spirit, like sunlight breaking through clouds. Show us what else you have, the judge urged. Leave us in awe. As they began to determine her fate, Ava felt an unexpected spark ignite within her. A challenge. Could she be even bolder? What did that really mean for her? Thank you for your honesty, Ava finally replied, voice steadier than she felt. I'm ready to push myself. I'll show you more. With each word, she felt lighter, resolved. She knew she could turn fear into fuel. What if this was the moment she chose to embrace her journey fully? To take risks? This was her chance. A gateway to grow beyond her own expectations. Then we'll be waiting, the bearded man said, leaning back, eyes glinting with curiosity as Ava left the stage. Her heart still danced with the rhythm of hope, but the journey was far from over. Where would the next step take her? Would she have the courage to uncover the layers of her culinary identity? Feeling emboldened, she turned to face the kitchen one last time. I'll be back, she thought, feeling a new fire within her. What lay ahead remained uncertain, but Ava understood that the path was hers to shape. Now, the question loomed clear: what bold flavors would she unveil to the world? The hum of the kitchen buzzed like a swarm of bees as Ava strode back to her station. The weight of the judge's words lingered in her mind, a challenge echoing with each step. "Show us what else you have," they had said. The thought sent a rush of adrenaline through her, but it also came with pressure. She glanced around the vibrant chaos, pots clanging, flames licking oil-stained pans. It felt alive, electric in a way that made her heart race and her creativity spark. "What am I going to make next?" Ava muttered under her breath, rolling her sleeves up. She needed to dig deep into the well of her cooking knowledge. "All right, Ava," she whispered, pacing slightly. "You've got this. Just focus." Her mind flashed back to her grandmother's kitchen, the place where she had first learned to cook. The smell of fresh herbs, the warmth of homemade bread, and the joy of sharing meals ran like threads through her memories. She had always been inspired by the connection food could create among people. Ava picked up her knife, feeling its weight in her hand. She needed to create a dish that captured that essence of connection, something that was visually stunning yet layered with flavors. It had to be bold. Pasta. The thought slid into her mind like a perfectly cooked noodle. She could create a dish that layered textures and flavors, something that would surprise the judges. She imagined a vibrant roasted red pepper sauce, a hint of spice from jalapeno, and perhaps a fresh herb garnish. As she moved, she envisioned the colors blending on the plate, the aroma wafting through the kitchen, tempting everyone nearby. It was a celebration in a bowl. But she needed to take it further. "Crab," she exclaimed softly. The sweet, delicate meat would add richness. Ava felt invigorated by the idea. The combination of earthy pasta, spicy sauce, and decadent crab could truly come together. She began forming a plan, her heart racing as creativity surged through her. Ingredients lined her station, a mosaic of colors waiting for her command. The sight ignited her determination. She grabbed the red peppers, first slicing them, watching the juices glisten as she diced each piece. The vibrant hues felt like a burst of life. Time faded as she lost herself in the rhythm of cooking. The simmering sauce bubbled delightfully while she rolled out her pasta, each press of the rolling pin a declaration of her resolve. She focused intently, feeling each motion wash over her like an affirmation of her ability. But as she worked, doubt loomed once again, threatening to strangle her newfound energy. What if the judges didn't get it? What if they saw this dish as another failure rather than the breakthrough she hoped for? She paused, taking a deep breath. "This is your moment, Ava. Embrace it." The sound of the kitchen faded, creating a bubble around her, just her and the food. With renewed vigor, she stirred the sauce, adding a touch of cream for richness. She could almost picture the judges' faces, the surprise that would spread as they tasted her creation. As the sauce thickened, Ava felt a wave of certainty wash over her. She was on the right path. It was more than just flavors. It was about her story, her journey into uncharted territory. She was here to transform not just the ingredients but herself. Once plated, the dish shimmered, a bold red sauce draping over the delicate pasta. A sprinkle of fresh herbs dotted across the top like tiny green jewels. It was everything she dreamed it would be. Glancing at the clock, panic crept back in. It was time to present her dish. Could she maintain this momentum? Would the judges truly understand the passion behind the flavors? With the dish in hand, she felt the weight of every eye as she walked toward the judges' table. The anticipation was thick in the air, pumping through her veins. What if this was the moment that changed everything? As she approached, a deep breath steadied her resolve. She was ready, This was her time to shine, to show the world what she could truly create. Yet beneath that confidence rested a lingering fear. Would they see her for who she truly was? What if they finally laughed? The silence hung heavy as she placed her dish in front of them. Not just her culinary skill but her very soul. And there, in that moment, anything could happen. Ava's heart raced as she stepped back from the judge's table, feeling their eyes scan the dish she had poured her heart into. Time seemed to stretch. The happiness she felt while cooking now hung in the balance as a wave of vulnerability swept over her. She noticed the subtle glimmer of the red sauce against the pasta, a rich contrast that sparkled under the bright kitchen lights. "What do you have for us today, Ava?" the lead judge asked, his voice steady yet inquisitive. "This is a handmade pasta with a roasted red pepper and jalapeno sauce," she began, excitement creeping back into her voice. "It's topped with fresh crab and herbs. I wanted to create something that celebrates the flavors of home and connection." As she spoke, she watched for their reactions. One judge raised an eyebrow, his lips pursed, but she pressed on, her passion igniting with each word. "Every ingredient tells a story. The spicy kick represents the boldness I've found through my journey, and the sweetness of the crab embodies my love for family and tradition." The air shifted. She could sense a crack in their stoic facade, a flicker of interest. The second judge leaned forward, intrigued, and the room felt lighter with possibility. "Let us taste it," the lead judge said, lifting his fork. Her breath hitched. With one bite, everything was at stake. She felt her palms get sweaty as she watched them take a forkful. The silence was deafening, amplified by the clinking of utensils as they tasted. Then, a miracle happened. "Wow," the second judge said, eyebrows shooting up. "This is impressive." Ava's heart soared, but apprehension lingered. "Do you really like it?" The lead judge nodded, chewing thoughtfully. "This is layered beautifully. You've created a great balance." The words were like music to her ears. Excitement and relief crashed over her, flooding her with warmth. But then the other judge, who had not spoken yet, cleared his throat. "There's something risky about the jalapeno. Some might find it overwhelming." Ava could feel every nerve in her body tingle. "I was aiming for a bold flavor profile, a surprise that excites the palate." It was an honest response. She felt the weight of her truth hang between them, a moment filled with vulnerability that made her both terrified and exhilarated. "Your passion is clear," the lead judge added, "but you need to listen to feedback. Every great dish needs refinement." He looked at her with a serious expression, driving the point home. Ava nodded, absorbing their feedback, knowing it came from a place of experience. "Thank you. I appreciate that," she said, swallowing the slight sting of criticism. Just as she began to lower her guard, a hum began to ripple through the crowd behind her. Whispers turned to murmurs, growing louder. Had they all seen? The tension rippling off of her didn't escape attention. The buzz in the kitchen reflecting her heart as tempo. One of the other contestants, a suave competitor known for his flashy skills, gave her a pitying glance, smirking slightly as he scanned her plate. "Looks cute, but can you really outshine the rest of us?" The words cut deep, yet something ignited anew within her. Would she let this moment slip away? "Oh, it's not just cute," Ava said, surprising even herself. "It's a story, and every story deserves to be heard." She felt a flicker of courage rise within her. Every second she stood there, hope and fear tangled like the strands of her pasta, tugging at her heart. Ava realized she wasn't just competing against everyone else. She was fighting for her place, her voice, and the essence of what she believed food to be. The judges shared glances, their interest piquing at her boldness. The competition wasn't just for titles. It was about passion, daring to craft something meaningful. "Let us see if you can keep that fire alive," the lead judge responded, a hint of a challenge in his eye. As she moved back, the energy of the buzz grew louder. She wasn't done yet. Ava stole a glance at the clock. Time was fleeting, but so was the chance to show them who she really was. She could feel the shift. In the air, a sense of urgency charging through the room. A fire sparked in her gut. She needed to create again, not just to compete, but to express her journey. With that thought racing through her, Ava turned back toward her station, ready to face the next round. But what could she create that would surprise them all? Again, Ava stood at her station, the clattering sounds of pans and shuffling feet echoing around her. The challenge ahead felt daunting, but the adrenaline rushed through her veins like a surge of electricity. She needed a dish that would not only impress the judges but also tell her story once more, a story rooted in resilience and dreams. Glancing at the ingredients laid out before her, she sensed an inspiration rising from deep within. The bright colors of fresh vegetables caught her eye. They reminded her of childhood dinners at her grandmother's house. Memories of cooking together, laughter filling the air as the kitchen transformed into a whirlwind of flavors, ignited her spirit. Taking a deep breath, Ava began to move with renewed confidence. She started chopping vibrant bell peppers, their sweet aroma wrapping around her like a warm hug. She remembered the joy of adding a pinch of spice to every dish, how it mirrored the way she had spiced up her own life. "All right, Ava," she murmured under her breath. "It's time to make something unforgettable." Her fingers danced over the fresh ingredients. She reached for limes, zesting them to unlock the citrusy brightness. She thought about how she needed to balance the bold taste with something fresh and alive. A burst of flavor, just like her experience on this journey. The clock ticked away, but she lost herself in the rhythm of cooking. Each splash of olive oil in the pan felt like a celebration, each sizzle a heartbeat. With a few shakes of seasoning, she stirred everything together, blending her ideas into something greater. Through the chaos, she caught the eye of the suave competitor from earlier. He was watching, arms crossed, an expression of disbelief planted on his face. Could have knocked her off course, but instead, it fueled her determination. She imagined what the judges would think, how they might respond to her creativity. "Keep your doubts," she whispered to herself, a smile creeping onto her lips. "I'm about to show you what I can do." As the final minutes dwindled, Ava focused on the presentation, arranging her dish with care. She poured cool, creamy avocado sauce over the spiced stir-fry, a green wave cascading down like the hopes she had for herself. Topping it all with a few zesty radish slices brought a pop of color that felt like fireworks. Moments later, she stood before the judges again. This time, something shifted in Ava. Gone was the hesitation, replaced by unwavering clarity. "Today, I've prepared a spicy stir-fry with colorful veggies, topped with a cool avocado sauce and crisp radishes," she said, her voice steady and confident. "Just like the first dish, this captures my journey." The spicy notes of the jalapeno are joined by bright flavors, representing the highs and lows I've experienced. The lead judge nodded, intrigued. "Let us see if the flavor matches your passion." With forks poised and eager eyes, the judges dug in. This time, Ava held her breath differently. There was no tension, only a sense of anticipation. Their expressions changed as they tasted, each bite sending waves of approval through the room. "Impressive depth," the second judge remarked, his eyes widening. "And that balance showing how flavors can indeed come together beautifully." Ava felt a grin stretch across her face, but it was short-lived when she heard the competing chef chuckle behind her. "Cute dish, but is it enough to take on the real contenders?" She turned, feeling the heat rise in her chest again at the challenge. "It's more than cute. It's a reflection of what I stand for. We'll see." As the judges continued to eat, Ava's heart thumped fervently. Despite the competition, she felt liberated. The moment was hers to own. She was not just a dishwasher. She was an artist, crafting her narrative with every dish, conjuring memories and dreams to share. But just as she thought she had offered enough to leave an impression, the lead judge's brow furrowed. "What's your strategy moving forward?" Ava's mind raced. Could she dig even deeper? What more could she reveal to truly embody her journey? With time slipping away, she knew she had one last chance to show who she was. The possibilities were endless, and she needed to prepare for the challenge ahead. What secret ingredient would she uncover next that could elevate her story? Ava stood frozen at her station, the air thick with anxiety and possibility. The judge's question echoed in her mind, each tick of the clock urging her forward. How could she dive deeper into her story? What secret ingredient slumbered within her? The laughter of her rival still rang in her ears, harsh and mocking like a thunderstorm. But instead of folding under pressure, she embraced it. Ava's thoughts drifted back to her grandmother, the stories she told, the lessons learned in a cozy kitchen filled with warmth. Cooking had always been more than just a task. It was a way to connect, to express love and resilience. That was what she had to show now. Focus, Ava whispered to herself, shaking off the remnants of doubt. She quickly surveyed her surroundings. Other competitors were plating their lavish dishes, each one crafted with precision, clearly aiming for the golden star. But that was their game. What unique aspect could she insert into her dish that spoke to her reality? Then she spotted them a jar of pickled jalapenos her grandmother once used. They were almost forgotten in the corner, over on a shelf that gleamed with freshness. The sight sparked an idea. Her grandmother had always said that each ingredient tells a story, and these pickled jalapenos could tell hers. She moved swiftly, opening the jar and inhaling the sharp, tangy aroma. It was more than flavor, it was nostalgia in a jar. She envisioned how she would incorporate them, adding layers to her already colorful stir-fry, infusing it with that heartfelt punch that felt familiar and comforting. As she rushed to her station, her hands trembled. This was a balance of risk and reward, but if she wanted to stand out, she needed to embrace boldness like never before. Ava diced the pickled jalapenos, letting their juice sprinkle over the dish like a testament to her journey, a journey that wasn't just seasoned with triumph, but also marinated in challenges and growth. Each chop, each sprinkle, felt like reclaiming her narrative, reminding her of her spirit. The kitchen buzzed. The gentle hum of excitement turned into a cacophony of sizzling pans and spirited chatter. Yet at that moment, the world narrowed, and it was just Ava, her dish, and the stories she held tight to her heart. She plated her creation again. She swirled the avocado sauce in intricate patterns and garnished with fresh cilantro, sharp and fragrant against the vibrant colors. The pickled jalapenos, proudly perched on top, were the icing on the cake, adding a pop that demanded attention. She turned to face the judges as the moment of truth neared again. In this dish, I've added a layer of pickled jalapenos to reflect the sharpness of life's challenges. It's spicy and bold the way every moment has shaped me. As the judges lifted their forks, Ava's heart raced. This was the most authentic version of herself laid bare before them, and she felt both vulnerable and empowered. The lead judge took a bite, his brow furrowing as flavors danced across his palate. Their expressions said it all. Surprise, delight, and curiosity flicked in their eyes. This elevates the dish, the second judge said, clearly impressed. Tells a story we didn't expect. Ava caught her breath, each second expanding as hope blossomed inside her. Could this be her moment? Could she find herself among the rising stars, where once she felt out of place and overlooked? But then, amidst the applause and enthusiasm, her rival stepped forward again, his voice a low whisper laced with derision. You think a dash of pickles can win this competition? They don't see you, just a dishwasher trying to play chef. Ava's heart sank for a moment, stung by his words, but she quickly squared her shoulders. She wasn't just anything, and she would not let his words dim her light. As the judges deliberated, Ava caught a glimpse of the cameras flashing, the audience whispering, intrigued by her journey. It was then when she realized there was a choice here. She could either succumb to the noise or use it as fuel to blaze ahead. And just like that, she felt a spark reignite within her, a determination to not just be seen but to be celebrated. She was ready for whatever came next. What if this competition held more than a title? What if it was the key to unlocking not just her culinary journey, but the strength within her waiting to be unleashed? As the judges convened, their faces a blend of intrigue and skepticism, Ava stood at the edge of hope. The weight of her ambitions hung in the air like a dense fog. She fought to shake off the doubts lingering in her mind, reminding herself of everything she had overcome to reach this point. The laughter from her rival echoed, but it fueled rather than extinguished her spirit. Ava had come too far to let someone else's dismissiveness drown out her voice. "Show us your heart, Ava," she whispered to herself, and in that moment of clarity, she knew she had to rise above expectations. This was not just about winning. It was about transforming a dream into reality. The lead judge cleared his throat, the room falling silent. "Ava, we need to know, what does this competition mean to you?" His eyes searched hers, and she could feel the crowd leaning in, eager for her answer. She took a deep breath, her heart pounding to a rhythm of courage. "This competition is everything to me. It's not just a chance to showcase my culinary skills. It's a chance to tell my story, a story of resilience, family, and love. Food is my way of connecting the dots of my past to my future." She scanned the judges' faces, searching for understanding. "Each plate I create carries with it the spirit of my grandmother and the lessons she taught me. That food is a powerful language, one that speaks of identity, of overcoming struggles, and of hope." The judges exchanged glances, clearly moved by her sincerity. Ava could see they were softening, the tension in their shoulders easing as they began to recognize the fire raging within her. The bearded judge broke the silence. "Ava, you've certainly showcased your passion, but we need a champion who can take that passion to the next level. Can you wrap up your culinary journey with one final dish that encapsulates everything you've learned?" Ava's heart quickened. This was her moment, the last chance to solidify her place in this world. "Absolutely," she responded, a surge of determination pushing her forward. "I want to create a dish that embodies transformation. I'll use flavors that honor my past but infuse them with a daring twist to show how far I've come." With conviction booming in her mind, Ava rushed back to her station. She scanned her ingredients, each colorful element speaking to her soul. Her eyes landed on her grandmother's cherished spices, the ones that told stories of home-cooked meals and family secrets. She could feel each variety whispering their histories, igniting her creativity. Ava began crafting a dish that perfectly intertwined her heritage with a modern flair, a savory duck confit with a sweet potato puree, topped with the pickled jalapenos she had discovered during the competition. The dish would symbolize tenderness and boldness, a true reflection of her journey. As she cooked, memories flooded back. She pictured her grandmother bustling about the kitchen, sharing stories, laughing, and loving while stirring fragrant pots. Each chop of the knife felt cathartic, each blend of flavors invigorating, as though she were reclaiming her past in each movement. Ava expertly plated her dish, ensuring that the vibrant colors danced together in harmony. The rich, crispy skin of the duck contrasted beautifully against the golden puree, with bright green jalapenos sparkling atop like jewels. "This is it," she whispered to herself, feeling a rush of pride and purpose. As she walked to the judges' table again, she felt lighter, her spirit unencumbered by the weight of expectation. "Today, I present a dish that reflects my transformation," she declared confidently. "This duck confit paired with sweet potato puree represents the love I carry from my grandmother's kitchen. The pickled jalapenos add that twist much like life. It's unexpected, but together, they create something beautiful." The judges lifted their forks. Silence fell over the room once more, anticipation thickening the air. Each bite they took felt like an eternity for Ava. Then she saw it, the sparkle in the lead judge's eye, the nod of approval shared. Between them, "This is incredible," one judge exclaimed. "The balance is perfect, and the jalapenos surprised the palate in the best way." With each compliment, her heart filled a little more. She had stepped out of the shadows and into the light, finally embracing her truth. As the deliberation wrapped up, Ava felt a wave of calm wash over her. She had transformed her journey into something tangible and beautiful. The lead judge stood up to address the audience, a mixture of admiration and genuine surprise lighting up his face. "Today, we've seen not just culinary talent but spirit, resilience, and passion. Ava took us on a journey that resonated beyond the plate. She reminded us why we cook, not just to create dishes, but to share stories. We have made our decision." Ava's heart raced, every breath heavy with anticipation. She felt grateful to be in that moment, regardless of the outcome. One of the judges smiled. Ava, you're the champion of this competition. You've not only earned our respect but inspired us all. Your journey is just beginning. Ava burst into tears of joy, feeling a tide of relief and fulfillment swell within her. She had done it against all odds. She had stepped into her identity, into her place, showing the world that a dishwasher could transform into a culinary artist. The crowd erupted into applause, a wave of admiration washing over her. Ava raised her arms in celebration, embracing the love from her family, the legacy of her grandmother, and the hard work she had poured into every meal. This was not just a victory. It was a testament to resilience, proving that no matter where you start, where you end up defines what you've made of your journey. And the beautiful flavors of her past weren't just a stepping stone. They became the foundation for the future she was now ready to savor. Now is your moment to join this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.